following program is brought to you in living color.
Something in the air? You bet. Excitement.
He's here. It's Max Payload, legislative gumshoe.
Starting right now. Wait, 247.
Oh, Christ, I only have 1 foot on the scale. Let me get the other one up there. Oh, God.
Fortune. Danger.
Well, I can't say as I'm too happy with that either.
Who is it?
Oh, you know who it is. He walks the halls of Capitol Hill, seeking out wrongdoing by our elective representatives. His name is whispered in the caucus rooms and steamy showers of the Capitol. Both the House of Representatives and the Senate tremble at the mention of his name. They fear him like children fear a ghost. His name? I'm Max Payload, legislative gumshoe. Today's episode, Denny the Diddler. Today's exciting episode will begin right after these messages.
This is Wendell Niles speaking. Here's something to remember about the new Frigidaire refrigerators. They're made to fit your kitchen, made to fit your needs. Because, you see, Frigidaire offers you a wide variety of refrigerator types and sizes. There's a size for small apartment kitchens, a size for big farm families, and many different sizes in between. These wonderful new Frigidaire refrigerators give you more room, up to half again as much space for storing foods, yet take up no more space in the kitchen. There's lots of shelf room, special places to keep things like tall bottles, fruits and vegetables, meats, eggs, and other small articles. Generous room in all models for safe storage of frozen foods. And to fit the most important requirement of all, your need for utmost dependability. Every one of these new Frigidaire refrigerators is powered by the famous Frigidaire meter miser, the simplest cold-making mechanism ever built. Remember how the new Frigidaire refrigerators are made to fit into your home, into your way of living. And always remember, ask to see the name Frigidaire when you ask to see a new refrigerator.
And now we join Max Payload, legislative gumshoe, in today's episode, Denny the Diddler. When you've been a legislative gumshoe for as long as I have, not much takes you by surprise anymore. But this case took me by surprise. It all began one late May afternoon with a phone call. The phone was swiftly answered by my leggy assistant, Go-Go McQuestion. Would you answer the damn phone, woman?
Whoops-a-daisy. Sorry, I was thinking about Frankie Sinatra and his dreamy eyes.
The phone was eventually answered by my leggy assistant, Go-Go McQuestion.
Max Payload's office. This is Go-Go. You don't say. Oh, my God. You don't say. Really? You don't say. Huh. Well, I'll be doggone. I'll tell Max right away. What? You don't say. Oh. Well, I'll tell Max, and I'm sure he'll get right on it. Bye-bye.
Who was that?
He didn't say.
How did I miss that setup?
But he has some startling news that I find really, really queer.
Well, are you going to share it with me, or must I consult
A mind reader.
Not that there would be much there for him to read.
Hey, I am too smart.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was interior monologue and you couldn't hear it.
I heard it fine, mister. Well, anyway, there's something going on with the former Speaker of the House, Denny Bastard.
I always felt that was an unfortunate selection of a last name, but who am I to judge? I just investigate.
Well, like what? He's overeating at the Rotary Club rubber chicken luncheons again?
This would seem to be a little bit more nefarious, Max. It seems like he's been lying to the FBI.
Well, what of it? I lie to the FBI every day, and I'm directly responsible to them. So do you.
Well, this is a different thing, Max. It seems that Denny has been withdrawing sums of money and disguising his withdrawals to fool the bank regulators.
It's his own money, isn't it?
Well, I guess, but I think it's what he was using it for.
Why? He was trying to buy a boat that could hold his significant weight in Lake Michigan?
You ought to not start with the fat jokes there, Tubby.
She was right, of course. I'm monstrously fat.
Well, what seems to be the problem with these withdrawals he's been making?
It seems he's been using them to pay hush money to someone he had a sexual relationship with back when he was a high school teacher.
So the man was having sex with a fellow teacher. Who gives a rat's you-know-what?
It wasn't with another teacher, Max. A student.
Well, sometimes those girl students come across as flirtatious and sexy.
It wasn't a girl student, Max.
That's impossible. If he wasn't having sex with a girl, who could he possibly...
This takes me completely by surprise. And as you know by now, it takes quite a deal to surprise Max Payload, legislative gumshoe. Within an hour, we were at Union Station, myself and my young up-and-coming detective intern, an ex-con with a wily reputation known as Starchy O'Brien. He was a good man now after doing his time behind bars, and he was the sort of person you could count on to do the dirty work that is sometimes made necessary in the field of legislative gumshoeing.
But where are we going, Mr. Payload, and why did you tell me that I had to pack light?
We're going to Yorkville, Illinois, Starchy, and we're going to see if we can implicate the former Speaker of the House, Denny Bastard, in the crime of buggery.
Yeah, okay, but why did you tell me I had to pack all these lights? I got 4 flashlights, 1 table lamp. I found one of those hanging globe lamps that my grandma likes, and I threw that in my bag.
I didn't bother to explain it to him. He's a good boy, but not bright. The train dropped us off in Yorkville the next morning. We checked into the local hotel, and I apprised Starchy of the plan.
So we came all the way to Illinois so we could go fishing? That doesn't make any sense.
As I said, good boy, not bright.
No, Starchy, listen carefully. I'm going to use you as bait to capture Denny Bastard, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives. We're going to catch him in the act of offering you bribe money.
I don't get it, Mr. Payload. Why would he offer me bribe money? I never did nothing with the man.
No, but you're going to pretend you did.
My clever deductive reasoning being that a long-time diddler like Denny Bastard probably lost count of how many young boys he had violated over the years. I was going to dangle Starchy in front of him like a big, stinky dough ball in front of a catfish.
All right, Starchy, here's what we're going to do. Here is Denny's phone number. You are going to call him and tell him that your name is Petey McPoot and that you were a wrestling student of his, let's say 30 years ago, and that all the recent news coverage about his nefarious activities have reawakened memories in you, memories that you do not mind sharing with the authorities, although a cleansing of your brain by, say, $2.4 million will go a long way toward helping you forget that anything like that ever happened.
But nothing like that never did happen, Mr. Payload. I don't do that sort of thing with boys. Well, there was that one time in prison when I had to, because they were going to kill me otherwise or take my cigarettes, but I was forced.
Starchy, we're not saying that you actually did it. We're pretending, play acting, like on the radio.
I get it now. I like radio.
It was time to put my clever plan into action. Starchy dialed the telephone number I gave him, and it rang right away. Would Denny be home? Time would only tell.
When he answers, Starchy, remember, stick to the script.
I got you, Mr. Payload.
Your name is Petey McPoot, and you were a wrestling student of his about, say 30 years ago.
I remember.
All right, then.
Hello.
Hi there, Denny. Do you remember me?
Is this another reporter?
No, I am not a reporter, Denny. I am Pooty McPete. I was a wrestling student of yours, say about 30 years ago. And all this recent coverage of your, nefarious activities, when you were a high school wrestling coach have reawakened memories in me that can only be cleansed from my brain by $2.4 million.
Oh, dear. What an unfortunate... The burden you've had to carry for all of these years. Are you sure $2.4 million will be enough?
That's what it says here.
My God. Well, then, tell me where you are, and I'll be there in a half hour.
I'm at the Stained Mattress Hotel, right off of Highway 37, just south of town. You know where it is.
Oh, indeed I do. Is there anybody with you? Tell him no.
No, I am by myself.
Fine. I'll be there with your money and a little something extra for you in a half hour. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
So the trap was set. Now we just had to sit back and wait for the rat to come in. But you know what they say sometimes. Caged rats are the most dangerous.
We'll return with the next act of this exciting episode of Max Payload, Legislative Gumshoe, after these commercial messages.
You know, in a great many businesses and trades, a man's or a woman's hands are exposed either to weather or to such things as paints, chemicals, and abrasives. Now that more and more people are doing industrial work, that's truer than ever. Maybe you or someone in your family has a job like this. It's tough on hands. So let me tell you about a marvelous, simple routine. Before work, smooth a light protective coating of Vaseline petroleum jelly on your hands. This helps keep grit from grinding into your skin, helps safeguard against infection when the skin is broken, and it makes cleanup easier. Also, after washing, apply Vaseline petroleum jelly again. This brings soothing relief to chapped, sore hands, and it helps promote quick healing of nicks and scratches. Besides, Vaseline petroleum jelly is grand for babies' tender skin and for minor household burns. Get a jar or two of Vaseline petroleum jelly tonight or tomorrow. Only 15 cents for the regular jar and only 25 cents for the large economy size.
Thank you, Rosemary DeCamp. Looking for a good food buy? Then get Velveeta, Kraft's famous pasteurized processed cheese food. Velveeta is one of the best food buys you can make because Velveeta is not only delicious, but it's nourishing too. And you can use Velveeta so many ways, in snacks, sandwiches, and for a variety of economical hot main dishes. Melt Velveeta for a smooth golden cheese sauce to extend leftovers or to use in new made dishes. Make it your handy helper for all kinds of money-saving hot meals. Get it tomorrow. Your best buy in cheese food, Velveeta, made only by Kraft.
And now, back to Max Payload, Legislative Gumshoe.
The trap had been set. I had Starchy splayed out on the bed cover in something of a seductive position, which for Starchy was not an easy position to maintain.
Oh, this is not an easy position for me to maintain, Mr. Payload.
Well, maintain it for a little while longer, and when the rat arrives, you know what to do.
Yeah, I know what to do.
Ah, sounds like the rat may be entering the trap in now. I'll be hiding in the bathroom. Let him in, and I'll be watching.
Come in.
Why, hello there, Pootie. I must say you don't look familiar, but the suggestive position you're in leads me to believe we've met before.
Could I just have my $2.4 million now? My back is starting to hurt.
Everything in its time, Pootie. Everything in its time. So, first tell me, how have these last 30 years treated you?
Oh, there was some time in jail. I guess. Can I have that money now to prove that I had, relations with you?
Well, why be in such a hurry? I mean, you're here, I'm here. The mattress and coverlet are already stained, so why don't we unholster the weapon, as they say?
Oh, Mommy!
Your mommy can't help you now. You see, I did some checking. There was no Pooty McPete in my school at any time. So I know you to be an imposter, just after my money. So lay on your stomach and take it like a man.
Not so fast, bastard. You bastard.
It's Mew, Max, Payload, Legislative Gumshoe.
So me remember, eh? Well, that's a good thing, because you know me to be a serious man who will deal with you in the harshest manner possible if you do not immediately surrender.
Yeah, you better do like he says, 'cause he's Max Payload, the legislative gumshoe.
I don't care if he's the legislative horseshoe. I've got the drop on you both, so don't anybody move.
Oh, he had the drop on us, all right. Me and my slow holster hand. I didn't expect Denny, bastard of all people, to be carrying a weapon, but then again, in effect, we were trying to blackmail him legally, of course, but it only stands to figure now, looking back on it, that he'd carry a weapon. One of those momentary lapses, I guess, but before I knew it, he had both myself and Starchy face down in the pillows, our wrists tied behind our backs, our knees tied together, and our backsides pointed toward the ceiling.
Thank you for inviting me along on this caper, Mr. Payload.
Oh, you both will be thanking me when I put you out of your misery after I'm finished with you.
What are your plans, bastard?
Oh, they're very simple. It involves your basic internal combustion engine mechanics, intake, compression, power, exhaust, only with living human flesh. You know.
The man was clearly out of his mind with butt lust.
You'll never get away with this, bastard.
Not only will I get away with it, but I will frame you two for planting evidence against me. And then I will say you called me to this hotel in order to extort me more, and I got the drop on you and murdered you. Well, I won't say murdered. I'll say defended myself against you.
How will you explain the obvious trauma to our backsides?
Why, my dear fellow, that is simplicity itself. I'll just merely say that I caught you two gay caballeros in the act of sodomy. And then you tried to blackmail me. One of you drew a gun, I drew mine, and was the quicker, better shot.
Well, that's how I'd do it if I was him, Mr. Payload.
Now, which of you shall I start with?
If I was you, I'd start with Starchy over there. I mean, he's of normal girth and physical fitness. He'll probably be a tighter, more satisfying fit. And then with my obesity, you can use me for humiliation when you're finished with Starchy.
Have I ever told you how much I enjoy my friendship with you, Mr. Payload?
What Starchy didn't know was I had a plan. A person as large as myself has several body folds where one can secretly tape a weapon if need be. My plan was to wait until Bastard commenced his assault on Starchy. I hope he didn't hurt him too badly, and then use the rocking motion of the bed to roll myself over to the side, fall to the floor, which would certainly break these restraints on my hands, and then I'd be able to retrieve my weapon.
Interesting choice of who should go first, Mr. Payload, but I believe I'll start with you.
It looked like I was going to have to come up with an alternate plan. He knelt behind me between my taped-together ankles, straddled my hips, and I lifted my heels and caught him right in his dangling cojones. Then I flipped over to the floor, broke my wrist restraints, reached under my right breast, untaped the gun I had duct-taped there, and pointed it directly at Denny Bastard's head.
Don't move, Denny the Diddler. Who has the drop on who now?
Realizing I should have thought of this in advance, it dawned on me that a person as morbidly obese as Denny Bastard might also have a personal firearm taped underneath his flabby bosom. And he did.
First I'll finish you, Payload, and then I'll take care of your friend twice, as they say.
Two shots were fired. As you can tell by who's narrating this tale, my shot was true. His shot was errant and went through the bathroom wall into a room next to ours where the mayor of this small town was killed while mounting his mistress. My bullet, however, found its spot directly between Denny Bastard's eyes, spewing his brains behind him like a colorful peacock tail over the rug and the walls. Being an artist, I took a moment to admire my work, and then I set about the business of freeing Starchy from his predicament.
Did you see what he was gonna do to me with that kielbasa in his pants?
That was no kielbasa there, Starchy. That was the real deal.
You mean that was his real, whatchamacallit?
That's, what I'm saying.
Can I see your gun for a second?
Certainly, here.
Thank you, Mr. Payload.
Bullets fired into the body of an obese man, dead already. It's like shooting a dead pig.
Okay, Mr. Payload. I'm ready to go home now.
And we shall return with the conclusion of tonight's exciting episode of Max Payload, Legislative Gumshoe, right after these messages.
I wear the cleanest clothes in town, so does my family. And yours can too, 'cause all you do is use T-I-D-E. Tide gets clothes cleaner than any soap.
Any soap?
Yes, any soap. You get the cleanest wash in town with T-I-D-E. Tide.
Say, you'd like to get the cleanest wash in town, wouldn't you? Sure. And Tide will give it to you every time. Reason we're so positive about that is we've proved it in the laboratory. There isn't a soap sold today we haven't tested against Tide. And that probably includes any soap you've ever used yourself. Well, the results read like this. Tide gets clothes cleaner than any other washing product sold throughout America. Of course, millions of you women have proved that right in your own washing machines. But where our results are in facts and figures, yours are in those cleaner overalls the kids romp around in. The cleaner towels you stack away each wash day. So put your clothes in those wonderful Tide Suds. Then wring them, rinse them, and hang up the cleanest wash in town.
Tide gets clothes cleaner than any soap.
Any soap?
Yes, any soap.
You get the cleanest wash in town with
T-I-D-E. Tide.
legislative gumshoe.
After the long train ride home, I found myself back in my Capitol Hill office, and Go-Go McQuestion was just as spicy and sassy as ever.
So, now you know what it's like when somebody wants you to give up the booty and you're not ready and willing to do so.
Well, it's not like I didn't know it was wrong. I just guess I have a better understanding now of women who say no and men who think they mean yes.
I guess that's a lesson that Denny Bastard never learned until it was just too late.
Well, if the scientist ever wished to examine his brain to see what makes a man behave that way, all they have to do is scrape the walls and clean up the rug and use whatever they can find there from the Stained Mattress Motel in Yorkville, Illinois.
You know what, Max? Sometimes you can be a very disgusting and off-putting man.
And I suppose this would be one of those times, eh, Go-Go?
It sure would be, Max.
So it would be probably pointless to invite you to my place for a pizza, whipped cream, and twister party then, wouldn't it?
It sure would be, Max.
Well, it's like my father always said. Nobody loves a fat man, but oh, how a fat man can love. You've been listening to the latest adventure of Max Payload, Legislative Gumshoe. Written, produced, and performed by Bill Schmalville. This performance is copyrighted 2015. All rights reserved. No portion of this program may be copied or retransmitted without the express written consent of Bill Schmalville Productions. Join us again next time for another exciting episode of Max Payload, Legislative Gumshoe.